What's up everyone, this is K Collections, and the New Year's event has been officially announced. It is quite different from the Japanese version, but for this video I'm going to give a quick summary as usual on the summoning banner, what we're getting, and basically give a breakdown of the two new servants, Arjuna and Karna, which are the new 5-star servants for this banner. Keep in mind they aren't limited whatsoever. They will be released on the next singularity. So both these servants will be added to all summoning banners once that singularity gets released. If you want to get these servants, I definitely encourage it. I personally want to get Karna, not so much Arjuna. But do know you could get spooked by these two servants in the future. So there's no rush. They aren't limited like I already mentioned. So you could save your Saint Quartz for future banners. I know Saber Wars is a banner that's going to come out relatively soon. So I know players want to save their Saint Quartz for that. And maybe for Nero Bride as well. So, as we know, Saint Quartz are so valuable, you may not want to spend it on non-limited servants. On top of that, we are getting a rate up for Saber Altar, which is a locked servant. So, the only way to get her is through rate up, or if you roll for the story gacha. I already mentioned this on a previous video. And, of course, for the 3 stars rate up, you get Ku, Medusa, and Medea. All excellent servants. The reason why they're adding these servants as rate up on this specific banner is because we are receiving the animation update, which I'm very, very excited for. It's going to be amazing, especially Ku's animation. He's going to look awesome. But let's talk more specifically about this banner. Well, first off, I want to talk about the pickup dates. Here's just the dates and which servant will have the rate up. And of course, this banner will be released on the 28th. So on the 28th and 29th, both servants, Arjuna and Karna, will have a rate up. And then, they're going to alternate. But on the final day, they're both going to have a rate up again. I personally would recommend you rolling on a specific servant's rate up. So, example, if you're after Karna like I am, I would wait till the 30th or, January 1st to roll for him. Unless you really don't care, then, I wouldn't discourage it. If you don't really care which servant you get, as long as you get a new 5-star servant in this banner, then, you could definitely roll on the 28th, 29th, or, January 3rd. We're also receiving a trial quest for both Arjuna and Karna. This is similar to the Thanksgiving Skahawk trial quest. It's a great way to try out these servants if you're on the fence, if you're not really sure if you want to pull for them or not. I forgot to mention we will have maintenance on the 28th. Of course, it's pretty self-explanatory. They're going to have to update all the motion updates for the servants that I mentioned, as well as adding the new banner. So just keep that in mind. We will receive, I do believe, 3 Saint Quartz as compensation. So let's take a look at the new craft essence, and these are the limited time craft essence right here. The first one is the new 5-star CE, which is the Grand New Year, and this applies target focus for 1 turn and grants invincibility for 1 turn. So whoever has this equipped is not going to get hurt whatsoever. It also has increased debuff resistance by 10% for your servant. In my opinion, this is a really good CE because it helps with survivability as well as protecting your servants. For example, right? Let's say you have the combat uniform equipped and you don't have any evade or invincibility skills left to use, and your enemy servant has a single targetable phantasm that's going to totally destroy one of your servants. You can always switch out your current servants with another servant that has the CE equipped. After switching, of course, your enemy will target whoever has this equipped, and they do have invincibility, so they're going to be safe, and overall, you will survive that 1 turn. But afterwards, the target focus and invincibility will be over, so use this wisely. For the new 4-star craft essence, it applies debuff immunity for 1 time and increases your defense by 8%. This isn't a bad CE whatsoever, but we know enemy could spam debuffs on your servants, so having a 1-time immunity is a little lackluster. If it were 3 times, that would be a lot more efficient, but it is what it is. It's not bad whatsoever. For myself, I probably won't really equip it because after that immunity has been used up, it's not useless. You do have the increased defense, but there are better craft essence to use for your servants. Now, for the 3-star craft essence, this restores 200 HP per turn, which isn't bad, right? And it decreases the attack of your servant by 10%. For the last 3-star craft essence, this is pretty good. I'm actually going to keep this. I personally don't really keep 3-star CEs for reasons, right? But for this one, it increases the amount of QP earned by 2017, right? Whenever you complete quests. So that's all the new CEs for this banner. Keep in mind, I did not mention anything about max limit breaking it. So if you max limit break them, of course the effects will be a little bit greater. Now what we're going to do is take a look at the new 5-star servants, Arjuna and Karna. Let's take a look at Karna first because he's awesome. And so his attack cards are 2 quicks, 1 arts, and 2 buster cards. He does have a buster Noble Phantasm, which is always great because you can buster Brave Chain with Karna. And this goes especially well with his second skill, which I will get to. But taking a look at his first skill, this reduces one enemy's debuff resistance for 1 turn. So this really helps any ally servants who specialize in debuffing enemies. It also prevents your enemy, whomever you target, from using their Noble Phantasm for 1 turn. And of course, it also prevents them from charging that Noble Phantasm as well. This is especially helpful when you're facing servants who has NP gain. For example, I know Gilgamesh, Francis Drake, for example. Whenever you face them, they can potentially charge your NP gauge and then unleash their Noble Phantasm a turn early. So this skill, when activated on the right timing, can always help out. For his second skill, this has great synergy with his attack cards, especially when you activate this when he has Buster Brave Chain. So this increases his Buster card performance for 1 turn anywhere from 20% upwards to 30% depending on the skill level. Of course, this also increases NP damage for 1 turn as well, anywhere from 10% upwards to 20%. So this is an amazing skill. Of course, if you can't perform a Buster Brave Chain with your Noble Phantasm, you can always activate this skill when you use this Noble Phantasm. It's most ideal to use it in a Buster Brave Chain, but we can't always have what we need, right? For his third skill, this charges his NP gauge by 25%, which is amazing. For me, I'm a huge Noble Phantasm user, right? I love spamming Noble Phantasm. Any skill sets that increases your NP gauge is always a plus in my book. It also increases his critical star generation for 3 turns. It also increases critical damage for 3 turns. So for the star generation rate, it increases anywhere from 30% upwards to 50%. For the crit damage plus, it increases anywhere from 20% upwards to 40%. In my opinion, all 3 of his active skills are very useful. But let's go down to the passive skill now. He has 3 passives. First one's Magic Resistance C, which increases Ohm resistance to debuffs by 15%. We've seen this 1,000 times already. The second one is Divinity A, which increases Own damage by 200. And for his third skill, he has Riding A, which increases Own quick card performance by 10%, which is good because he does have 2 quick cards. Of course, his third skill does help with star generation as well. So, good synergy in terms of his passive and his active skills, as well as his attack cards. And for his Noble Phantasm now, it is a buster, like I mentioned. It's an AoE that deals damage to all enemies. It deals extra damage to any enemies that has Divinity. Here's just all the servants with the Divine trait. So, a good amount of servants. Feel free to pause the video to see which servants has Divinity. Of course, this is the Japanese version, so there's a lot of servants that we haven't seen yet, but we will get them eventually. So, that's just a quick look at Karna. Again, this is just a summary, but excellent servant in my opinion. Has good consistency in terms of his skills and his attack cards, like I mentioned already. I love the artwork. Not so much a stage 4, it's kind of okay, but I love the first 3 artwork. Let me know if you guys are planning to pull for him. I know I am. He is awesome, especially in Fate Apocrypha. But let's move on to his half-brother, Arjuna. For Arjuna, he has 1 quick, 3 arts, and 1 buster. He has a buster Noble Phantasm. So this is where he's a little inconsistent, kind of like Emiya's. I kind of wish he had another buster card just so he could buster Brave Chain. That would have went well with one of his skills, which I will talk about. But for his first skill, it increases his critical star generation rate for 3 turns, anywhere from 18% upwards to 36%, depending on the skill level. He will have an interlude that basically upgrades his skill, as well as grants self-debuff immunity for 5 turns. But moving on to his second skill now. This charges his own MP gauge by 25%. It also regenerates his health for 5 turns, anywhere from 1,000 upwards to 2,000 depending on the skill level. So it's really great, especially for survivability. So for 5 whole turns, you're regenerating a good amount of health. He also gained critical stars for 5 turns, anywhere from 4 stars upwards to 8 stars. For his last skill, it's Mana Burst Flame A, the same skill that Karna has. and it's basically the same thing. Increases his buster card performance for one turn anywhere from 20% upwards to 30%, as well as NP damage for one turn anywhere from 10% upwards to 20%. So in my opinion, this isn't as effective as Karna, because for Karna, he can Buster Brave Chain with his Noble Phantasm, dealing massive amounts of damage. But for Arjuna, yes, you could use this before you activate his Noble Phantasm, but you can't Buster Brave Chain or anything because his attack cards doesn't allow it. So that's why I said Arjuna has somewhat of an inconsistent attack cards and skill set. Nonetheless, it's still useful when you use it in the right time. For his passive skill, he does have 3. First one is Independent Action A, which increases his critical attack damage by 10%. The second passive skill is Magic Resistance C, which increases resistance to debuffs by 15%. And of course, he also has Divinity, which increases his own damage by 175. Lastly, his Noble Phantasm is a buster card like I already mentioned. It deals damage to all enemies. There is a 30% chance to cause instant death to all enemies. Also, there's an extra 50% chance to cause death against any divine enemies. Going back to the trait section, here's all the servants with Divinity. Feel free to pause the video. This Noble Phantasm also reduces the defense of all enemies for 3 turns, anywhere from 20% upwards to 40%, depending on the charge level. So that's Arjuna. Personally, I'm not going to pull for him, but if I do get spooked by him in the future, that's always a good thing in my opinion. I already have Gilgamesh, Orion, even Emiya, so there's really no point in me getting more Archer class servants. But let me know, are you planning to pull for Arjuna? If so, best of luck to you once the banner comes out. So that's the New Year's banner, very different from the Japanese version. As of right now, there isn't any news in terms of the 5-star guaranteed banner. We did receive one on Thanksgiving already, so most likely we're not going to receive another one, but you never know, right? They could surprise us in the end. So that's all I want to talk about for the New Year's event. Comment down below to let me know if you plan on pulling on this banner. If so, which servant do you want the most? For myself, you guys heard it already, Karna, right? I also would like Saber Altar as well, but she will be a raid up for the Saber Wars, at least I hope so, if they don't change anything. So I plan to get her eventually, right? And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to all my subscribers, this whole FGO community as a whole. You guys are awesome. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I'll be making more FGO videos. I will be live streaming my New Year's banner, so hopefully I get Karna when I live stream it. So look forward to that. I may pull on the Tesla banner later on. I'm not sure yet, I may or may not spend a lot of Saint Quartz on that specific banner. We'll see. Or I'll just save all my Saint Quartz for the New Year's banner. But like I said, I'll determine that a little bit later. I won't be live streaming the Tesla banner, however, because I'm only probably just going to do like 10 shot, maybe 2 10-shots max. But best of luck to all players planning to pull on these banners. Once this New Year's event has been released, we'll have 3 banners in total, not including the story, of course. But as always, have fun with this. Keep your expectations in check. As always, have an amazing day. Till next time, everyone.